Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Inspirations. That's my podcast about knitting, yarn dyeing. I'm Christelle, I'm an indie dyer. My business is Tricot et Stitch, and I'm very happy to be hosting this new episode of Inspirations. So you can expect to find me, usually, here on YouTube at 5 p.m. every Monday afternoon. There is also a newsletter that I'm sending out every Monday afternoon at 5 p.m. That's all Paris time. And also I'm updating the shop every Monday afternoon. That's usually. But these times are completely unusual, because if you've been watching the podcast and are a returning viewer, for which I thank you so much, you must know that I'm actually in the process of moving my business and my family to a new home in Normandy. And I've been talking about that for a few months now, because we've had the house in Normandy for a few months. And we wanted to finish the school year. We wanted for our kids to finish the school year, to finally move. And this is happening. The school year has come to an end, and in a week's time I'm going to move my workshop, my studio, actually my dyeing studio. I'm going to move it on the 23rd of June. And the day after, we're going to move houses. So it's a very, very busy period for us. Lots of things to think about, lots of things to act upon, lots of things to do, because I feel like I'm in the eye of the cyclone, because I've just had two fiber shows, 2 weekends in a row, beginning of June, and now I'm in the eye. And then next weekend I'm moving, and then I have another 2 fiber shows, 2 weekends in a row. So it's really a maelstrom of things to do right now, between dyeing sessions in which I cannot, just stop, because I want time to pack crates and everything, because I still have to dye for the festivals to come, and the need to prepare the moving. Actually cannot, cut through it like this, and I have to do things. So lots and lots of things to do. That's why it's completely unusual, and the timetable of the podcast and newsletters and shop updates is completely out of the ordinary for the coming weeks. So I'm just going to brush upon the latest fiber shows I've been a part of. I just wanted to brief you a bit. Then I will touch base on the agenda, and then I will go through very quickly through to the calendrier de l'Avent, the Advent calendar, the satisfaction shawl, and my projects. Okay guys, lots of things to tell you today. So first of all, fiber shows. The first one I attended was beginning of June in Porto, and it's been so good, so good. I mean, this version of the podcast in English is oops, what is it? Sorry guys. Sorry about that, guys. So what was I saying? Yeah, Porto. So what I really enjoy about this festival is, the name is Knit with Friends, and it is actually really the feeling you've got. You've got the impression as a vendor. It's my second time vending at this festival, and I really had this feeling of being among friends, and it was awesome. I mean, I really enjoyed it, and business-wise, it was so good. So I'm very happy about that. I will be returning, yes, next year. And yes, I know what I wanted to tell you. This version of the podcast in English versus the one I'm doing in French, it's a bit different, because in French, I think maybe 90% of my audience is French. And so I have far less people watching the podcast in English, compared to the one in French. So there is a lot of interaction with the French version of the podcast, a lot of comments, a lot of people. I'm meeting a lot of people watching the podcast on the Fiber shows and everything. But for the English version, it's really important to me to be doing it in both languages, because I want to be as inclusive as I can with the means I've got. And because my knitting journey has started with knitting from the United States. I've ordered a lot of yarn from there. I've watched a lot of podcasts in English. I've with the UK and other countries in Europe, not necessarily English speaking, but Germany or a lot of things actually. I've been really a big participant in the international knitting community since the beginning. Not as a dyer and not as a professional, but as a knitter. And it was very important for me to still be part of this international community now that it is my day job, actually. So that's why it's very important for me to keep doing this and to keep doing it in English as well. But far less interactions, guys, far less interactions. Still, I got this feeling I'm just talking to myself a lot, but I won't give up. You see, I won't give up. But often I feel like I'm talking to myself. Okay, I know you're there. I know, because sometimes I get a comment. Okay, so I know you're there. And that's plenty enough. I mean, each time you guys decide to leave a comment, reach out and say hello, it's absolutely wonderful for me, because I know I'm not alone talking to myself all the time, okay? And what was magical in Porto is that I had not many, but I had a couple of people coming and tell me they were watching the podcast. And that was so cool, because I'm not talking to myself, actually. I'm talking to you, and you're there, I know. And so really, if you're the kind of person watching and not leaving any comment or anything, that's perfectly fine. I'm like that too. I usually don't leave any comments when I watch content, and I like, and I push the like button and everything, but I usually don't comment, or very rarely. But if you'd like to leave a comment today, because I didn't say it earlier, but today's my birthday, actually, okay? I think it's the first time I'm recording a podcast on my birthday. I'm 45 today, so I'd be very pleased if you could leave a comment today. It would be really cool, okay? And then I had another fiber show just after this one, just after Porto. It was in Bretagne, so that's Brittany, and it's the really northwestern part of France, near the sea, and it was absolutely great. It was absolutely great. I mean, it's my second time doing that festival as well. Like in Porto, it was the second edition. Porto is older, but Porto, it was my second time in Porto in that festival. For Big Woodland, it's the second time I'm attending as a vendor, and it's the second edition of the festival. And it didn't disappoint. It was awesome. And I had a most wonderful time with my daughter, because she came with me. She's 15, and she came with me to help at the booth and help me, install everything, and just help me with. There was a lot of people at the Big Woodland Festival, and she helped me manage everybody, and she helped around at the booth, and I really enjoyed doing that with her, because I mean, the setting is so beautiful. It's by the sea, and we had a really lovely time, mother-daughter time, after the festival at night, and we went strolling by the sea, eat a pizza by the sea, and it was awesome. It was awesome. So yeah, wonderful times. And I really, there's a time when I can do the festivals with my family is really the best festivals. the ones that I like the most, actually, when I can take everyone with me. And I'm actually going to do that, but I mean to the full extent of my family, for the next festival, which is in Normandy. So I'm playing close to home. Not close enough to be able to commute every day, but still, I think just about an hour drive, so very cool. And this time around, because it's so close, I've rented 3 houses, and I've decided to take my sisters, my brothers-in-law, my nieces, my nephews, my parents, my husband, my kids. Everybody's coming. We're 16 guys, and that's without counting the 2 tiny tots on the way, which are due. Both my sisters are pregnant and due in August. So we have 2 little girls joining the family soon. That's Juliette and Joanne joining the family. That's Juliette et Joanne in French. That's cool. It's so cool. And then afterwards, and I have another one. Then I'm going to take a bit of time off, but it's in Berry. It's the town name is Ardente, and the name of the festival, that's the first edition, is Berry Broadland, and that's so the one in Normandy is on the 1st and 2nd of July, and the one in Berry is on the 8th and 9th of July. And there you go. And so next week on the 23rd, I'm moving the studio. I've rented a little place in the village I'm going to live in. Previously it was a driving school, and now it's going to be a dyeing studio. It's very old building. There is a first room with a window that opens, in which I'm going to dye, so that the hair can move about. And yeah, I needed to have a good how do you say, aeration system, so opening the window basically. Then there is another bigger room with a like a shop window, in which I'm going to have a little nook for the kids so they can stay with me when I'm working. So complete with TV and sofa and fridge for snacks. And also all what I need to, my stock, everything to prepare orders, and also the place where I'm going to rinse out the yarn is going to be that place. And then I have a little bathroom, a very small bathroom. So that's pretty cool. Tomorrow I'm going to pick up some material to prepare everything for the move, because I have some works that are going to be done there. I have some plumbing, which is going to be done on Monday, Tuesday next week. Then electricity works going to be done on Wednesday, and then I'm moving in on the 23rd, so on Friday. I thought I heard knocking. Okay, so I'm very excited to have my my own separate studio. Since the beginning, I've been working from home. In my basement, and I mean, whatever the weather, I was rinsing my yarn outside. So I've been rinsing out. I was talking with a neighbor the last time. She lives right in front of me, and I told her that in my new studio I would be rinsing yarn inside, and she said to me, "Oh, that's so cool for you, because I've been seeing you, doing that day in and day out, under the rain and under the snow, whenever it was freezing cold. Every day you're outside and rinsing the yarn, whatever. Sometimes I have my big, neon yellow poncho to protect me against the rain, and it's true that it's not the nicest thing to rinse out your yarn outside, especially when it's very cold, or it's very rainy. Cold and rainy is the absolute worst. Like in January or February this time around, oh my god, or in March, even in March when it's just rainy but it's cold still. I mean, I will not be missing this part of rinsing out. At this time of year, it's pretty cool. It's sunny, it's warm, it's perfectly okay, but I mean, it's going to be such an improvement to be able to do everything indoors. with something completely new and built up, custom built, because I have the plumber installing everything like I need to, with 3 different sinks, because that's how I rinse my eye. I have 3 different baths to rinse out every trace of vinegar, and so I have 3 different sinks with a very long cord, like water cord, to be able to, you know, fill in my pots and everything. And it's going to be completely custom built, and I'm so excited about this. So excited, guys, so excited. Then I wanted to touch base really quickly about the advent calendars. I was blown away completely because advent calendars sold out in 22 minutes, guys. That's crazy. That's crazy. Last year it was 1 hour and 43 minutes, and that was still a very short amount of time, but this time around it's been completely crazy. 22 minutes. I couldn't believe my eyes. So thank you so much. And I know some of you have ordered, so thank you so much about that. I really appreciate your business. Thank you so much for your support. If you didn't manage to grab one, but still you filled in the form, the Google form, don't worry. I won't be, you know, forgetting your name. You're officially on the waiting list, and if you don't have a calendar this year, you're in pole position for next year. You will be contacted 1 week in advance compared to the others, to be able to order for sure the 2024 version of the advent calendars. Okay, and then I wanted to share with you, I really, okay, the pattern is not completely ready, but if I don't do that, I will never make it a priority during this completely crazy time. So this guy, today is the 16th of June, but you will see this on the 19th, and this, guys, the pattern is out. Okay, that's satisfaction. That's the pattern I was supposed to publish like months ago, but couldn't get around doing it. I don't know why, because always it was not a priority. I've decided to make it a priority now, and I'm going to work as crazy this weekend, but it doesn't matter. I want it out. I want it published, okay? So this is officially published. I know a lot of you were waiting for it. Maybe you've been waiting too long and now you're very, very frustrated and you don't want to knit it anymore. I totally understand. I would totally understand, because I'm quite frustrated about this and not being able to have published it earlier, but at the same time, I'm only human and I only have 2 arms and 1 brain. So yeah. And this is, so the first version was the sport version, and this is the version DK plus more hair and silk with contrasting border. And also I have a tester who did a sport and Syrian silk version with a border without picot, which is absolutely gorgeous. So she didn't do a knitted on edge like this. She just continued in garter stitch, and it was awesome. It was beautiful as well. So I'm very happy that this big boy is finally out. I mean, the pattern is already done and tested. It's really the fine-tuning now, but I don't know why it's been so hard for me to, I don't know why. I mean, I've published patterns way more complicated than this one. I don't know why I have such a hard time. I have such a hard time getting to it. So that's my way of literally, sorry, pardon my French, kicking my own ass just to have it done. And that's it, just to have it done. Okay, and battery low, I'm going to change it and get back to, and I've checked, the other battery is fully charged. Okay, guys. And I'm back, and it's fully charged, you see. Didn't lie. So I have a few minutes left before I have to go and fetch the kids from school. I just wanted to share with you my projects, because I've been knitting. I've been knitting so much. I don't know what's happening. I mean, we've talked about like ridiculously small objectives, you remember, a couple of episodes ago, and having a focus on a, you know, really being focused on a specific project each month on which I'm, you know, dedicating the biggest chunk of my time knitting that project. And the rest of the other projects are like with this ridiculously small objective. I approach with that kind of method. It's been incredibly efficient, and I've never finished so many projects in such a short amount of time. So the thing is, with the ridiculously small objectives, it works when you're at home and you're not easily disturbed. You don't have to travel, you don't have any, you know, out of the usual things to do, and this is not the case at the moment. At the moment it's mayhem, okay? Organized mayhem, but mayhem still. So I'm not making a lot of progress on that front, but I'm not too, you know, I'm not too anxious about it, because I know that life will soon settle back again, and will soon be at home with a lot of time, and I will be able to make progress. So anyway, I had planned ahead and didn't plan anything really for the month of June in terms of knitting or in terms of ridiculously small objectives. In June, I didn't plan any, I didn't count on doing anything really, apart from prepare the move and prepare the fiber shows, which was really a big objective in itself. So comes as a very cool surprise to be, you know, I'm actually doing better than I expected. This was to be completed by the end of June, and it's already done. Okay, it's not blocked, but it's my own pattern. It's the Réconfort shawl. You can find it on Ravelry. And it's a big triangular shawl knitted out of decaying Mohair silk, and this is out of my Autumn Rainbow colorway. And yeah, I'm very happy about it. I will show it to you once it's blocked, but this is done, and I'm super happy about it. Then I made now the project on which I'm focusing the biggest chunk of my attention is my broadleaf sweater, and at the back. This is the back, and I'm using minis with Stellina to knit the back, and I'm actually thinking about making this side the right side of the back, because I really love the way the background color is changing more than this side actually. But I have to finish it and we'll see, but it might be that. So colorways are a set of 6 minis, 6 different colors of neon. So you have neon blue, neon green, neon yellow, then neon orange, neon pink, and neon purple. And then that colorway is my February colorway, 1983, out of extra thin fingering and Mohair silk. It's a bit warm to be knitting with Mohair silk, I must say. Then I cast on a new project out of Mohair silk, held double at this, in the Rose des Sables colorway. It's called the Fairy Tale Sweater by Knitting for Breakfast. It's an Italian couple of designers, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's lace and it's so beautiful, and I decided to add beads. I'm going to take my time knitting this. It's really an enjoyable knit, and it's so delicate and beautiful, and I'm really happy about this. And this year I'm kind of enjoying knitting a big project. I have the socks each month that I'm designing for the book. But I'm really enjoying knitting also some projects out of my monthly colorways in bigger pieces. So the project I've just shown you was knitted out of February. This was April. This was my project for March. In January I knitted a hat. And for May, I'm knitting a sweater out of my street art colorway, and this seems really busy, but I think it's going to be awesome. So many colors and so bright and cheerful, and you still, I mean, the lace pattern is simple enough that you can still pretty much read it. So I think it's going to be beautiful. I can't wait for it to be finished, and I'm actually knitting a lot on this because the beginning of the pattern was incredibly intricate because the designer included short rows into the lace motif. So each column started at a different point in the lace motif, and it was really, at the beginning I thought, why aren't we on the same row of the lace motif on each column? There is 6 of them. And for each column you were on a different line of the repeat, and I was like, that's so weird. And then short rows, and then bing, magic, everybody aligns, we're on the same row for each column. And I was like, that's why we have designers, that's why I mean, you imagine the work she had to do just to come up to this in each and every size. I mean, I'm such in awe of the technicality of the pattern. And I told her, because she's a vendor at most of the festival I'm doing in France as well. And I was like, I mean, mind blown at the work you had to do. And she said, oh, thank you so much for saying that to me, because people usually don't understand how much work we put into an indie designer pattern. And she was actually very pleased that I, saluted her work at doing such a complex thing, just to be able to have this beautifully lined up lace without interruption in the lace motif because of the short row. And it's crazy. That's why I'm not, when usually I have some clients that when I say that the pattern is like €6 or 7 or 8 euros, they're like, oh, I've just bought the yarn, it's expensive. It's time to fetch the kids. It's expensive. And I'm like, you don't realize how much work has been put into that for you to be able to knit your own beauty of a sweater. So especially for sweaters. So that's not expensive at all. When you realize the work that's been invested in that, that's not at all. That's not expensive at all. So I just wanted to, so much work and so much quality of work done into that. So yeah, pretty awesome pattern, pretty awesome. And I think that's it, guys. No, the last thing I wanted to touch base with you was the agenda. I talk about the festivals. So moving next weekend, then 2 festivals, okay? Not much time left to film another podcast episode among all that, because each and every Monday, next Monday will be just after my moving, so we not have the time to film a podcast and not the time to edit and everything. So no podcast on the 26th. Then there is 2 fiber shows in a row, and then I'm taking a bit of time off. So the latest date for the next podcast will be the 24th of July, but maybe if I can, I will try to sneak in another episode on the 3rd. I'm not sure. I don't want to confirm that because it will really depend on the time that I find to do that. I'm not sure. But next podcast for sure will be the 24th of July with maybe, if I can find the time, 1 episode on the 3rd. And then on the 3rd, that's for sure, even if there's no podcast on that day, there will be a shop update with the July Sock Knitters Almanac colorway for July and the 3 months club for the Sock Knitters Almanacs. So the colorways for July, August and September will be available in the shop as a club on the 3rd of July, okay? With or without a podcast. That would be a first. A colorway without a podcast would be a first, but. And the colorway for July will be available at the Fil de la Manche, which is the next festival I'm going to be vending at. And that's it, guys. That's it. That's all for me today. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Thank you again for the support. I hope you will leave a little comment for me today as a birthday present for me. No pressure, but it would be really cool if you did. That might be a good time to suggest to you to subscribe, because if there's a new podcast on the 3rd, you will definitely receive a newsletter, but also you could be alerted via the subscribing option on the channel. It's completely free. Okay, it's just, and you can turn on notifications that when the new podcast drops, you are informed. And that's it, guys, for me. So I love you to it. Enjoy, happy knitting, and I'll see you definitely on the 24th of July, and maybe a bit earlier if I find the time. Take care. Bye.